Melody Shari today, it almost feels unreal to think about what she had to survive. She walks with peace now, smiling with a glow that is so natural, and carrying herself like someone who has been through the fire but came out shining every time. She posts her wins, her businesses, her music, or just simple happy moments with her kids. You can see the joy in her eyes. She looks lighter, freer, like a woman who found herself after years of storms. But what people sometimes forget is that her journey to peace wasn't easy at all. It was painful, messy, and full of public heartbreak that most people could never imagine living through. And that's why this story is important. So make sure you watch until the very end, because everything about Melody's growth, Martell Holt's choices, and the way this entire situation unfolded has lessons that go deeper than reality TV. Back then, Melody's life looked like a dream. She had the family, the businesses, and a partnership that seemed solid. To the public, she and Martell Holt were one of those couples who had it all. They were not just husband and wife, but also co-stars on Love and Marriage, Huntsville. People admired their image. They seemed powerful, united, and unstoppable. But behind that picture-perfect image, Melody was quietly carrying pain. Because the truth was, Martell wasn't just struggling in the marriage, he was tearing it apart from the inside. While the world saw a successful couple, Melody was living through betrayal that grew deeper year after year. The truth about Martell eventually came out. Years of cheating, lies, and even a child born outside of the marriage with Arian Curry. Instead of taking responsibility, Martell tried to spin the story as though he was the one trapped in some tragedy, as if the marriage just collapsed on its own. But viewers knew the truth. This wasn't a random accident. It was the result of his choices he made over and over. And no matter how much he tries to act like the divorce was the biggest tragedy, people can clearly see that the real tragedy was the betrayal that caused it all in the first place. Even now, Martell talks with a straight face about how the divorce broke his family, about how his mother, Ms. Marlene, cried when she found out, and about how painful it all was. He sits with Ms. Marlene, and she nods along as if to soften the story, as if to make him look like the man who just wanted his family but lost it unfairly. But people see through that. Fans aren't fooled because they watch the story play out on screen and online. They know this wasn't about a family suddenly breaking. It was about Martell's constant cheating, his constant lying, and his refusal to change when Melody gave him chance after chance. And then there's Miss Marlene. She's not just an innocent bystander. She knew about Arian Curry. She knew about the other woman. She saw her son disrespect his vows, but she stayed quiet. Instead of protecting Melody, who once saw her as a second mother, she chose to protect her son's mistakes. Melody had looked at Miss Marlene like a bonus parent. She trusted her. She thought that bond was real. But when the storm hit, Marlene didn't stand with her. She stayed with Martell, even when it was clear that his actions were the cause of the destruction. That silence from someone Melody once loved like family cut deep, maybe even deeper than the betrayal itself. And let's be honest, there was more at play here than just heartbreak. When Melody was still Mrs. Holt, life looked very different for Miss Marlene, too. She had comfort, a lifestyle connected to Melody's success. The big house, the nice living room, the kitchen full of extras, the Escalade in the driveways, were all perks of being tied to Melody and Martell's image. But when Melody walked away, so did that comfort. Suddenly, things were smaller. The extras were gone. And maybe that's part of why Miss Marlene clings to Martell's version of the story. Because it didn't just affect him, it affected her, too. Fast forward to today, and instead of holding Martell accountable, Miss Marlene helps him paint a picture of a man broken by divorce, a man still healing. But the truth is, Martell had every chance to do better. Melody gave him grace, time, warnings, and opportunities to repair their marriage. He ignored them all. He made his choices, and those choices brought consequences. So when people wonder why Melody and Martell can't co-parent in peace, why there are still court dates, why there are still custody battles, simple. Martell isn't chasing peace. He's chasing control. He doesn't want to let go. And not because he wants to truly rebuild his family, but because letting go means admitting that he lost something he can never get back. And that reality haunts him. Martell often walks into scenes on love and marriage. Huntsville like he's carrying the weight of the world. But the truth is, most of that weight is his own doing. The courts don't drag him in every month for no reason. Melody doesn't file motions for fun. There's a pattern here, and that pattern is Martell creating chaos and then pretending to be shocked when consequences arrive. At this point, you'd expect him to finally take responsibility and step back. But instead, he seems to fuel the drama to stay in the spotlight. Because, let's be honest, without Melody, without her name attached to his storyline, Martell struggles to stay relevant. That's why viewers often see him posting cryptic captions, taking little jabs in interviews, or suddenly bringing up family values when Melody is trending. Whenever she's shining, he pops up with throwback pictures, trying to remind people of the past, but it doesn't look like love. It looks like obsession. It looks like bitterness because she left. She leveled up and she never looked back. That's something Martell can't seem to handle. Her success, her peace, and her ability to glow without him makes him restless. And then there's Ariane Curry, the other woman at the center of it all. To this day, she still proudly calls Martell her man, as if that title is worth something. But when you look at his face in photos with her, it tells another story. He doesn't look proud, doesn't smile the way he once smiled with Melody. Instead, he looks tired, drained, almost stuck. That blank stare isn't love, it's regret. Ariane wasn't his future. She was a distraction. And once the thrill faded, the truth remained. He had lost a whole life, a family, and the stability his kids deserved. Now, Martell likes to claim he's all about co-parenting.